We're looking at Consumer Mathematics, section 14.7, valuing inventory. Okay, so if we open our books, we're on page 536 in this section. Once again, valuing inventory. So I'll bring my paper in here. 14.7, valuing inventory. So now we're going to be talking about the price of inventory. So there are a couple different techniques and methods, and when some are best used. Different practices within there, and once again, it's going to depend upon the company and what type of items you have. For some of this, other times it doesn't really matter which method is used. So first method we start talking about is the average cost method. Okay, so with the average cost method basically talks about looking at the price you pay for every single piece of inventory. So I have all these pens that I have bought right here. But I pay different prices for each of them. But they're, once again, a pen that would be sold kind of similar. Now, granted, they're different colors, but pretend they're the same color. What we'd be looking at is we'd be looking at the average price for a pen in here, and then we would multiply it by 3 and basically state that all our items cost the same amount. So when we look at this our average cost method, we look at our inventory value. Talks about the average cost of a single unit times the number of on hand that we have. So basically we figure out all our average cost per unit, and then we take and we multiply by the number that we have. So the average cost unit is going to look at the total cost for everything. So what do we pay for every single piece of inventory that we have, and then we're going to divide it by the number of pieces that we have in that category. So if we look at one of the first problems here, once again this is going with questions 1 and 2 in here. Talks about 2 items are purchased. Okay, we buy 100 packs of felt pens, and these cost $4 each. Then we buy from somewhere else 60 packs, once again the same packs of felt pens, and these are costing $3.80 each. So what we start looking at is in question when we talk about the average cost per pack. So in order to find the average cost per pack, we got to figure out what is the total cost for the 100 packs at $4 each. So on this, we're going to take 100 times 4 for 400, and then we got to figure out the total cost for the 60 packs at $3.70. So we're going to take $3.80. So we're going to take 60 times 3.8. and that gives us $228. Then what we're going to do is we're going to add these two together to get $628 total. From here then, we're going to take our $628 and then we're going to divide it by 160. Once again, that 160 looked at that 100 packs and 60 packs, that adding together for 160 total packs that we have. So we have 628 divided by 160, which equals 3.925, which then gives us 3.93. So we're looking at each pack basically cost us $3.93 each, even though they were different amounts. This is what we say it is. So then when we look at ending our inventory, so once again, question number 2 here talks about what if we end our inventory value if we have 50 packs left on hand. So what we state now is we state that, well, we paid $3.93 per pack. Even though we did pay different prices for each of these, we just say, hey, our average price overall for all our pens was $3.93. So we're going to take $3.93 times 50 that are left, thus leaving us with $196.50 in inventory. So out of that 628 that we originally purchased, this is our price that we have left in inventory. Now this is one of our first methods. Once again, the average cost method is what this looks at. The next method takes a look at first in, first out, or Fifo method on here. So once again, we talk about first in, first out. One of the main stores that uses this is going to be any store that has consumables, things that have to be sold or they go bad. So basically, we start looking at grocery stores. They want to sell their oldest stuff first. The stuff they got in right away, they want to sell that. They don't basically want to stockpile it. So basically, if I kind of look at this here, let's say we had apples. Okay, so let's see here. Here's a nice picture of an apple, and then I have another apple. Okay, and then now I get my new apples in. So these are my first ones. Now I get my new ones. Okay, so here's my new apple over here. I don't want to sell this one first because these are going to start going bad. Okay, so we want first in, and then we want to sell first right here because the chances this one's going to stay better longer in the long run. So total inventory comes from basically the cost of the last ones in the inventory is one of the things that we consider on here. The next method we take a look at is last in, first out method, or Lifo method. So as we look at last in, first out, this basically means that as we get stuff in, we sell that right away first, and that first stuff we made just sits there. Many companies that use this, for instance, a gravel pit is one of the biggest things in here. In a gravel pit, you're going to have this big old pile of gravel, and then you're going to have your conveyor with your crusher. It's going to be dumping more gravel on this here. Well, as you load this out, you're not going to dig into the center and get this stuff in here. You're going to take what's on the outside and work your way back in. But you got to remember, gravel is not going to go bad. So when we start talking about rocks and everything else, that's not going to go bad. It's not a consumable. It's not going to be perishable. So this is when we start talking about, well, what we make, and it kind of gets piled up. We can't get the first stuff. Now, sometimes they might make separate piles because, once again, one big pile went first. So depending upon the company, they might usher their or haul that stuff out first. But it all depends upon the company within. But overall, that's what we start looking at. So once again, kind of looking at here, the last product that enters inventory is the first one to leave. So once again, the cost of our inventory is going to come from the first stuff that was in the inventory, or the oldest part of that inventory. So if we look at this problem here, okay, if we look at a problem, once again, this is kind of lining up with questions 3 and 4. We start talking about having, let's see here, assume that 100 packs of felt pens are bought at $4 each and 60 packs at $3.80 each. Now, once again, 100 packs was our first ones, and then 60 packs was our second ones coming in. So once again, we have total dollars right here, 628 overall. And then let's say there's 50 packs left, okay? So we have 50 packs total that are left in here. As we consider what's going on, let's look at number 3. Number 3 talks about our first in, first out method. Okay, so once again, we're looking at having 100 packs be our first in, 60 packs our second in. So what we look at is we look at our inventory and we state, well, if there's 50 packs left, that means the 50 packs are coming from those last ones entered in because we sold. So once again, if we have 160 packs, that means 110 sold, leaving us 50 left. So 100 packs sold from here, and then 10 packs sold from here, so we have 50 left here. So we take 50 times $3.80, telling us we have $190 to our cost of inventory. Once again, considering this, the quantity sold would be $438. We could look at this by taking, we have 100 packs at the $4, which gives us $400. Once again, that's this right up here. And then 10 packs left right here, so we have 10 packs sold at $3.80, giving us $38. So $438 sold, $190 are our carryover, or if we remember back, our total inventory was $628. We take off what's left in inventory is what is sold then. So we sold $438 worth of inventory, and we're keeping $190 worth of inventory. If we were to now consider the last in, first out for this exact same thing. So once again, because it's last in, first out, here we're stating that, well, because these pens don't necessarily go terribly bad right away, we can just restock in there. Now, overall, because of felt pens and everything, we would want to make sure to rotate this. So this method probably wouldn't be used. But for purpose of learning this technique, this is what we're considering. So, as we consider this, we start looking at the fact that we have 50 pens left. Because 50 pens, once again, if we take our 160 total minus our 50, that equals 110. So we have 60 pens that were taken from here, then out of that 110, leaving then 50 pens taken out here. So the 50 left are part of this first one. So we're going to take 50 times 4, once again, because it's $4 a pack, to have $200 left in the cost of inventory. Okay, so if we look at what was sold here now, once again, because we sold 110 pens, our felt pen packs, we sold 50 at $4 and then 60 at $3.80. So we sold $428 worth. Once again, we could have took 628 minus the 200. So in comparison to what's all going on when we start valuing what's left in inventory, just kind of quick recapping on here. If we look at our average cost method, so that average cost method, notice we had $196. So I'm just going to come here and I'm going to go average cost was $196.50. If we look at our Fifo method, we had $190. And then if we look at our Lifo, once again, last in, first out, this was our first in, first out, we had $200 left in inventory. So as a business owner, we got to figure out how are our products treated and how can we best work with them. Once again, because this is looking at our carryover. Once again, carryover is going to be covered in our next section, 14.8. And what we start discussing with the value then and what the cost of carryover really costs a company. So these costs are going to start playing into the pay that this company has to have for everything. Once again, the cost for that company and everything that goes into there. So we look at our 3 different values here, depending upon what it is. If we want less inventory on hand, we could be looking at this method, but if we want to report that we have more inventory here, we could be reporting it per this method. Once again, this is all going to depend upon what costs more. So once again, average cost kind of weeds out that you pay more and then pay less. You know, we have $4 for these ones and $3.80 for these. The average cost kind of weeds that out. When we have these differences that could be quite large, we could be seeing that the first in, first out, and last in, first out methods really could sway one way or another.